Another classic here on the Punchline Academy. My guy Frankie Cutlass is here. 30 years, Puerto Rico. If you have not heard this record, I highly encourage you to go on your streaming platforms and tap in, even though my guy is a born-again Christian. Who are you?
Wait a minute. Who haven't heard Puerto Rico?
Well, you got to remember,
when
too.
You got people like Jennifer Lopez clearing the sample, the song 2 times. Her NBC special back in 2002, live, her first live performance in Puerto Rico, did a whole 1.5 minutes of my song. Opened up her concert in Puerto Rico. Then just recently, the 2020 Super Bowl halftime show, she opened up her set with my song. If you never heard Puerto Rico, there's a problem.
Well, you know what's crazy, right? Because obviously SiriusXM is a national platform, right? So whenever I interact with people like, let's say like in Texas or Vegas or even certain parts of California, they don't really interact with Puerto Ricans like that. It's mainly their Latin community is Mexicans. So when they consider someone Hispanic, it's weird like how the country is arranged. Remember we was over there in LA and they were like Dominicans. I mean, they knew what they were, obviously. I mean, obviously we live in America, but it's kind of weird how that interaction is.
Yeah, it's very, in the West Coast, it's just like you either Mexican or not.
Yeah, right. Make sure you tap in.
But you don't have to be Puerto Rican to know the record Puerto Rico.
Yeah, well, you know it now.
You know it now. I mean, not only you know it now, but people that are not Puerto Ricans, that's, I mean, you, Frank, you sing that song, Puerto Rico. Yeah, Puerto Rico. You know, it's a classic hip-hop record. And if you're a DJ and you don't have that in your archive, then you ain't no real DJ.
You are actually a dirt DJ here on the Punchline Academy. Okay, so I remember hearing you on New York radio, and you will always say ADR. And for people who are not familiar with, let's call it like the gang culture, right? Because if you're in LA, you got Bloods and Crips. You know, if you're down south, you have something else. Well, here in New York City, Bloods and Crips weren't around until the early 90s, right? Let's say 94, 95. We had Latin Kings, we had Nietas, we had heavy Hispanic. Zulu Nation, heavy. We had Black Spades. I mean, we had some of those things. So I guess my question is, because you were saying ADR, and obviously that contributed to the growth of the Latin King community, were you ever a part of that crew?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was a brother. I was a 4th crown.
Okay.
So, you know, and you know, they ran with me, I ran with them. You know, they were doing a lot of security for some of my shows. And we had a great relationship until a couple of spoil you apples started accusing me of things that, like I said before, that wasn't true. You know what I'm saying? And thank God that, you know, later on they recognized, you know, that I was not doing what they, you know, thought I was doing, like one of them being a snitch. There will never be paperwork. You will never find paperwork. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're a snitch, they look up. You know, they look for those paperwork. You know what I'm saying? There's never been paperwork, and there will never be paperwork because I've never snitched. I'm not a rap. You know what I'm saying? So thank God later on, you know, it came out that I was cleared from all that, and you know, and also, you know, the main guy said, you know, he thanked God that I chose to become a born again Christian. You know, choose the right path and whatever. So, you know, I was lost. I was young, did a lot of stupid things in the streets. And, you know, I had a dark cloud over my life. So I had to, you know, my brother-in-law, who's a minister, you know, he was like, yo, man, you need to find God. You need to relax. You bugging out. You in the streets. You know, there's just a lot of chaos going on in your life, and you need to surrender to God. So that's what exactly I started going to church little by little, and then I became a born again Christian, and that, you know, that's what it is. You know?
We have a lot of younger people who are often influenced by gang culture, right? A lot of times you don't have mom and dad in the home, so you kind of look to that as like family based. Do you think that gangs, first and foremost, maybe take advantage of people in that go through these things, because obviously you can bring them in and set them to do whatever agenda you have? And also, what advice would you have for someone who may find themselves with the pressures of getting into something like that?
See, I can't speak for every gang. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I could speak for, as far as my experience with the Latin Kings. You know, we were there for each other. We looked out for each other. You know, every Sundays we met up. We talked about our culture. We put money to the side for brothers that were coming home and needed, you know, food or clothes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what we were doing. But, you know, like I said, you get certain, you know, people that just start doing knuckle things, you know, start doing crazy things, and just spoil you for everybody who's trying to do the positive. You know what I'm saying? And then that's in my case, that's what happened. You know, we had a couple of brothers that came home, they started wilding out, and it's just like, you know what I'm saying, everything went left. You know what I'm saying? For the young kids, man, it's just like, you know, like you just said, some kids grow up without mom and pops. They go to the streets, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes the street, you know, it leads to two different things, you know, either jail or death. Two different paths. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we have to be careful. Be careful.
Yeah, man, round of applause, Tone, for making sure that you are accurately being safe in these streets.
Yes.
I gotta tell you, man, like I feel like I'm learning more than putting into this interview. I'm taking away a lot. So I just want to give you your flowers for,
thank you.
You know, for just being able to like take the good out of the music industry and implement it into so many facets. And then you continue to do it.
Thank you.
So, brother, this is my final question for you, man. Like, what can we expect from you looking forward?
I'm, you know, been DJing, doing a lot of the dance music, freestyle, house music, classic hip hop. You know, 50 gigs a year, believe it or not, every weekend. You know what I'm saying? I've been active that bad. But you know, like I said, 2 weeks ago when I did the Radio City Music Hall for Tony Toca, something happened. You know what I'm saying? I love to pick up the mic and become the hype man, and I probably start transferring to doing that now, going back to my hip hop roots, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully start producing some records again, get in the lab, you know, and start doing. I know G-Dep been talking to me like, yo, come on, Frank, you gotta get out of there. We need some beats, you know. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
And I feel like, in the words of a fellow collaborator of yours, today's price is not yesterday's price, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. The Punchline Academy. This is the infamous Amadeuz. We are live now. Before you get out of here, right? Because I had heard that you were potentially blackballed at some point, and that also went into your decision of kind of getting out of hip hop. So without getting too much into it, like, is this true?
No.
And were you able to hash things out?
No. So you know, I used to roll with Fat Joe. We were tight after Boricua was on the set. Something happened in Hot 97. So basically he came out with Jealous Ones Envy, the first album. And I was up there with Flex. I was DJing and stuff. And when I looked at the credits in the back, this is how, to me, how it went down. I was looking at the credit. He didn't say thank you to Frankie Cutlass. He said thank you to most of the DJs. Okay. So I felt a little bit like, oh, Joe, you know. So I went on the air and I said, Joey, man, why ain't you give me no credit for that, man? What's going, like, you ain't give me no thank, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then me and Flex made a joke out of it. And I said, nah, Joe's my man. That's my man, you know, blah, blah, blah. The rep phone started ringing, and Flex picked up the rep phone, was like, oh, what's up, Joe?
It is the warm line.
Yeah, the warm line, right. So he was like, what's up, Joe? Oh, you want to speak to Frank? All right. So he gave me the phone, and all I heard in the background was, when I catch you is 360. And I said, what you said? He said, when I catch you is 360, and he hanged up. So me and Flex was like, yo, what the hell was that about? So I was like, yo, that was crazy. So anyway, moving forward, I went to a club the following week. That Relativity, I was signed to Relativity, Violator, Chris Lighty, may he rest in peace, and Epic Records. And Relativity threw a party. Beat Nuts was there, Fat Joe, me, Common, Bone Thugs, because they were all
on the same label.
All the same. We was all, you know, label mates. And I was looking in the corner of my eye, and I seen Joe and them getting prepared. I already knew they were gonna try to beat me up. So I was looking, they were like in this overpath that you could see like the whole club, and I'm looking through the side of my eye and I'm seeing them like kind of scheming, and I was like, all right, something's about to, you know, pop off. Yeah. So when I walked outside in the middle of the block, all of a sudden somebody screamed my name out. When I turned around, they grabbed me through my shirt and they began to try to punch me, so we was like scuffling. And then another guy came out of the way and pulled out a blade and tried to, you know, hit me up with some, you know, cut me up. Then my cousin came out of nowhere and he did some kind of like martial art move. Yo, he knocked the knife off the dude's hands, and then, you know, we ran and blah blah blah. And to this day, I didn't even know why I had beef with Joe. I heard different stories, you know what I'm saying, but I still didn't have no clue why, you know, it went down like that. About 6 years ago, I walked the National Puerto Rican Day with my stepson Victor Cruz, who used to play for the New York Giants. And Fat Joe was there, and I seen him, and, you know, I went up to him and told him, yo, peace be with you, man, you know, and I kind of told him, you know, like, let's bury the hatchet. You know what I'm saying? And he put out his hand, I put out mine. We shake hands. Everybody started shaking hands, and that was it. And I haven't seen him ever since that. He hangs out, like I said, with my stepson Victor Cruz and Sean Pecker. So I don't think there's any problem. As far as blackball, I want to get to that before I leave. I was never blackballed by Fat Joe. I couldn't be blackballed by Fat Joe for a lot of reasons. One, Puerto Rico was still playing heavy on the radios.
Heavy.
Jennifer Lopez licensed my record in 2002. She already did the record with Big Pun. So if I was blackballed, they would have told her not to do that, right? Not to license the record, right? Shake What Your Mama Gave You was playing hard. Music Makes Me High by the Lost Boys was playing hard. All these records that I named earlier
were moving.
Were moving. So how, if I was blackballed, how all those records was moving like that? You understand what I'm saying? So I didn't leave the music business because of Fat Joe. I left the music business, like I said earlier, because of my mother passing away, and because I had a fallout with the nation. That's why I left the business, not because of Fat Joe. No disrespect.
Okay, man. Facts over fiction here on the Punchline Academy. My guy Frankie Cutlass, thank you for coming to the Shade 45. If they want to follow you on social media, where you can tap in at?
Everything at Frankie Cutlass, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you know, and you know, at Frankie Cutlass and YouTube.
All right, man. Make sure you tap in. 30 years of Puerto Rico home here on the Punchline Academy. It's playing classic. We'll be back here on Shade 45.